Hello, YouTube. It's 9:42 p.m. Tuesday, January 4th. I just woke up. I want to say maybe about 15 minutes ago-ish. Maybe a little longer than that. I woke up super, super groggy, and it took a while for reality to kind of fall into focus. Woke up completely alone. When I got home, just everything became a little too overwhelming after the job interview and then the long journey back, and just the panic of having lost my bus pass, and this time not knowing what happened to it. At least when I was missing it this morning when I was selling boxes on OfferUp. At least then I was reasonably sure that I had left it, that I had found it on the floor of my room and had tossed it in the garbage. And it was right in the top of the trash bag where I thought it was. But yeah, heading out to that job interview, I definitely left it. And it was pretty warm yesterday afternoon. So when I got back from the walk, when I had walked all the way home from my storage unit to get my bus pass, I was reasonably sure. I had kind of figured, honestly, I only thought it would take me about 45 minutes to walk home. I didn't think it'd take a full hour, but I figured after that, I should still have a little over an hour to get to the interview, which I did, and I figured that should be more than enough time to get to, I keep saying 36th Street, but at this point, I'm pretty sure I was convinced that it was at 32nd Street. And I'm not sure why exactly I thought that, but I thought the place I was going to was at 32nd Street in Washington. I honestly, I think I had just kind of confirmed cross streets with her, and she had agreed with me. And I realized I was talking to somebody who lives in Southern California that doesn't know cross streets out here. So she was probably just agreeing to sound agreeable. But yeah, oh my goodness, I'm still groggy. Anyway, I figured I'd have plenty of time to get there, which had, if that's where I was going, I would have. And shot that little video. I actually shot two little videos on the way to the bus stop. And the one I recall pulling my bus pass out to kind of show it in frame, and I'm guessing that's probably where I dropped it, which would have been on the north side of Pierce Park. And then, right as I put it in the frame, the iPhone camera app crashed. So I tried to launch the camera app on my NUU Obama phone. And I've mentioned several times that all things considered, considering how little space that phone has on it, considering how little resources that phone has on it, and that it's an that it's a Android Go phone, I'm pretty happy with the performance of its camera, especially since I figured out how to turn image stabilization on it. I mean, it's not near as stable as an image or as crisp of an image as the iPhone, obviously. But it, for a freebie, it's not bad. But the one issue it does have, and this again goes to having really low resources, is when you open the camera app, you don't immediately have access to record video. You've got to wait for that button to show up. And sometimes it takes a while for that button to show up. It also helps if you check to see how many apps are running and close every other app. So yeah, I went to, pulled the other camera out, tried to, the phone out, tried to start recording video with it. And I'm keeping walking because I don't want to make sure I mess my bus because I'm fiddling with the camera, fiddling with the camera phone. And the, the button's just not coming on. I hit the thing, and I had like maybe three other apps that were open, so I closed them out, and it still took a while. And it's weird. Sometimes I can vividly recall what happened, and sometimes I can't remember what happened 2 minutes ago. It's crazy. Can't remember what I was talking about sometimes. But anyway, yeah, I vividly remember I'm walking down the street. I closed those off, and in the time it took for the camera button to come back on, I passed two large groups of homeless people. So probably over 10 homeless people in the corner of the park. Which that quantity gathering there does certainly make me a little on the nervous side. And then on the other side of the little fence there between the park and the the LifeWell clinic, which I've been told is also a methadone clinic. Now that I don't know, but it's definitely a LifeWell clinic there. And I'm really glad that that's not my LifeWell clinic, to be honest. But anyway, the LifeWell clinic that's there, I saw a person that definitely looked homeless, just walking with the backpack and the scruffy looking clothes. And somebody had pulled up right by that corner, and not trying to throw, any racial hate or stereotypes, but he happened to be black. And happened to be dressed a little on the gangster side. Pulled up in a very nice SUV. And it looked like he pulled up and was just waiting for someone to approach him to sell him some dope. And the guy that was walking up behind him sure seemed to be headed that way. Now, I didn't stay there and watch to see if that's what in fact went down, but it just looked awfully shady that somebody in a nice vehicle after, that would park at the end of the wall by where the homeless people hang out, as opposed to, if they were going to that clinic, they would park near the door of the clinic. I did see that other person approaching him, and it looked like he was waiting for that guy to approach him. Most people, if they see obviously homeless, kind of sketchy-looking person approaching them, they're not rolling down the window, they're rolling up the window. So anyway, missed getting all of that excitement on camera because I was waiting for the camera app to give me the option to select video. And when I did select video, I don't know, somewhere in there I'm thinking is probably where I dropped my bus pass. Probably tried to put it back in my pocket and missed. I did look at that area over as I walked by on my way home, but by then it was dark. And keep in mind, with that many homeless people milling around, considering how much garbage they pick up and carry in shopping carts, I'm sure somebody picked that up and was elated to, if they could make out through the dilapidated print on it, that it still had, I think, still have 4 days left on it. I think it expired, if memory serves, it expired on the 9th, and today's the 4th, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, well, almost 5 days left on it. They could have used it, for the rest of the day, and then 5th, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And sometimes, depending on the bus operator, they're even inclined to let you ride on a monthly pass if expired the day before. You can, and I got to admit, I've done this myself. If you say, hey, I'm on my way, I just need a ride to get to my case manager to get it replaced. Sometimes drivers are understanding. And on that note, I had a lot of understanding drivers today. Now, I think a lot of it just kind of stemmed from the fact that I had 3 of the buses I rode today, after leaving on my second trip for the job interview, had broken fare boxes. So the first bus I got on, I wanted to swipe my card, realized I didn't have my card, and I was kind of panicking about it. And then I was reaching for cash, and the woman's like, well, she goes, you know what, just hopefully you can find your card. The machine's not taking cash. So like thank you. And then the next bus I got on, that was a 17 west. By the time I had got there, I'd realized that I'd made the mistake about where the location of the place was. I had looked at the email about it, and I glanced at the email last night, but when I was glancing at the email, I was glancing at it to see, hey, what papers do I need to bring with me? Is this a hiring event? Because the last time I went to a thing, it was an actual hiring event, and they were expecting me, and they never included that in the email. They didn't mention it in the email. They were expecting me to have not only a driver's license, ID, but they were also expecting me to have either a birth certificate or a original Social Security card. So, yeah, yeah, because of that, I, I wasn't, and it's fine. Well, as soon as I found out it was refrigerated storage, like I didn't want the job anyway. But, yeah, I was, there I go, completely forgetting. Great memory of exactly the details of what happened between switching from one phone to another phone. And right now, I don't remember exactly what I was saying when I was talking about. My daughter says it's called an object permanence deficiency. Shit. Oh, yeah. So backing up. So I shot that short little video. I was heading to the bus stop, just to say what had happened with my phone crashing and the homeless people and what looked to be a drug deal getting ready to go down. And if I back my memory up, I can remember it. It's almost like backing up film. So going forward from there, cross the street, shut off camera, and that's when I proceeded to check the bus schedule to see how long it'd be till the bus showed up. And the bus was a ways away. I'm not sure how many minutes it would be, but the bus that was going southbound on 44. I'm checking the tracking on it. It was on its way, but it was up in the town of Paradise Valley, north of Lincoln, so it'd be a while till it got to me. Fine, still had plenty of time. And I checked that, and then I checked the transfer time on, to see, I scrolled it to see what time it would arrive at Washington. And then I checked the sketchy bus stop that I was talking about earlier at Washington Street that homeless people just love to congregate at, that reeks of piss in front of the Holiday Inn. And see, at the time that I, would be arriving there, a couple minutes after that, when there would be a bus heading either a 32 or a 1 heading westbound that would get me to 32nd Street. And yeah, I was definitely looking to 32nd Street. That's where I was thinking that this warehouse I was headed to was. And it looked like it was going to get me there at about 3:20. Interview's at 3:30. Perfect. That gets me enough time to get off the bus, figure out exactly where it's at, and be a little bit early, a little casually early, but not inconveniently early. Perfect. So I sent a message to Priscilla on Snapchat saying that's what I'd done. That, hey, I was, because she had offered to get me a lift. The last time she tried to get me a lift was when I was super tired and trying to come home from, and had something. Oh, I had a job interview the next day, so I was really concerned I would miss my job interview the next day if I was up all night trying to do the bus ride home from Bullock's, because I have to wait a couple hours until the buses are running, and the buses are not running very frequently. And often, even though I get off at 2:30 in the morning, I don't get home until around 7 in the morning. So I was concerned, that I had to be up early to travel to get to that job interview. It was at Shamrock. And so anyway, she had, so she supposedly had called me a Uber that time. And then I thought she had, and then I thought maybe she had changed her mind about it. She was not very clear with her communication about it. Anyway, the Uber ended up showing up after the bus had already started running. Like, it was probably 4:15 in the morning before I finally got a call from this Uber that supposedly she sent a little bit after 2 a.m. To tell me that he was, that he was at the bar. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even think you were still coming. Like, I supposedly were coming hours ago. I said, I'm at the Montebello Transit Center, I'm approaching the Montebello Transit Center, and I wasn't doing a transfer there because the light rail isn't running that early in the morning. But I mean, the Route 60 still goes through the transit center. Which kind of makes you wonder why. If the light rail's not running yet, why waste the time of the people that are on the 60 to go through the transit center? Why not just go straight down? Uh, why not just go straight down Bethany home until the trains start running? But I don't know. I mean, maybe somebody needs to go to that bank there, needs to go to those apartments. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I always just think of how this shit could be better. And apparently nobody that actually works for the bus is in charge of that, thinks of ways to make it better. But anyway, that's where I was. I was sitting at the, right next to, sitting in the left turn lane, on the bus, left turn lane, turning left on a Montebello. That's kind of a long light. That's what he called. He's like, well, no, I can't do that. I've called for another ride. I'm like, yeah, I just hung up. I'm like, I'm not even talking to this guy. I'm not the person who has the app and the money who's calling for a ride anyway. So I just hung up. It's like, fuck it. I'm already on the bus. You've became useless the moment the bus started running. And so anyway, as Priscilla was offering to get me a Lyft, that's all I'm thinking, or offering to get me an Uber, that's all I'm thinking. It's just how long it took that Uber to show up. And no, I don't have that much time. At least I kind of know how long the bus is going to take. It more or less follows, if not the schedule, I can look at the app and see how late or how early they're running and kind of gauge how they're going to show up. And I determined it was going to get me there in time. So anyway, I sent her a message to let her know, hey, it's going to get me there on time. And at that point, and then I thought, well, now's the perfect time to look at that email address and kind of, and then look in the map app and kind of get it in my mind exactly what corner it's on, or, I can look at aerial view, figure out exactly what building it's going to be, So when I get off the bus, I'm absolutely prepared to walk directly to it mentally. I don't have to look it up. I can just walk right to it. And that's when, because yesterday when I looked at the email, I was just checking to make sure that I wasn't being expected to bring a birth certificate or an original Social Security card, because those aren't the kind of things that I carry with me. And I do know exactly, I don't know where my original Social Security card is, but I do know exactly where my birth certificate is. So if that was needed, I was going to, make sure I have it. And I found out it wasn't needed. Good. Awesome. Now I know. I didn't look very closely at the address because I felt like we had already discussed the address when I had the pre-interview on the phone with the recruiter. And I'm absolutely convinced that I said it's near 32nd Street in Washington, and she said yes. Of course, somebody who lives in LA probably doesn't know the difference between what a street is in Phoenix and what an avenue is in Phoenix, and how a double-digit street is nowhere near the same double-digit avenue. And never mind the fact that she doesn't know that I'm not driving, which makes everything, 10 times worse. So, and more difficult. So, when these kinds of whoops, when these kind of mistakes happen, because if I was driving, granted, it would have taken a while to get from there to there, but it would have not been near the disaster it was being on public transit. So anyway, I'm sitting there waiting for the 44 to show up. I already know it's going to be a while. And I look at that and I'm like, oh, crap. And Priscilla, again, is trying to, well, what's an address? Like, she's going to send me an Uber. And I mustered her back. I said, I don't have 3 hours to wait for an Uber. And at least, like, if I'm stepping on the bus, I'm still moving. If I'm not even getting there in time, like, I know I'm still physically moving. Whereas just sitting and waiting and wondering with an Uber, especially since it's not in my Uber app, I can't even look and see, hey, is it close? Is it coming? What's going on? But I've done the thing where I've looked at the app and I've seen that it's coming, and then suddenly that vehicle isn't on my ride and my ride is pending again. And that's frustrating too. So, fuck it. And when I messaged her back, she's like, well, what's an address where you are? And I gave her the address to Del Taco. At this point, I'm walking southbound because I figure my best bet to try to get to that address on West Washington, which ended up being near 37th Avenue in Washington. My best bet to get to that is to get on the McDowell, not even fuck with the 44, because then I get to the light rail. I mean, the light rail gets to downtown Phoenix and heads north, and the Route 1 on Washington Street, it doesn't do West Washington. It gets to Central, and it also heads north. You'd think, since it doesn't follow the rail, that it's a bus, it doesn't have to follow the rail. It wouldn't, but it does for some reason. The route run goes north, and then I think it goes through Central Station, and I'm I'm not sure. I can't recall if that's the end of the route or maybe it goes. I don't know. I feel like it more or less ends at Central Station. It doesn't. The Route 1 doesn't handle West Washington. Nothing handles West Washington, other than the little stretch between about 7th Avenue and 17th Avenue, which is done by the Dash, which is the no, it sounds Dash. I think it stands for H. Shuttle for homeless. That's what it's the shuttle for the homeless. That's why it's called the Dash. Anyway, yeah. And for that matter, Washington Street, it does go through West. It doesn't really go through west of the Capitol. Now you've got Adams and Jefferson, which kind of Jefferson gets the traffic from Washington Street, and Adams gets the traffic from Washington Street. Jefferson is eastbound traffic, which is on Jefferson, and the Adams Jefferson, instead of it being Washington Jefferson, it becomes Adams Jefferson, and that goes through to 27th Avenue. I need to go to 37th Avenue, so I mean, I don't know, where would the routes go? Anyway, so yeah, it was quickly realized that there was no point in me waiting for that, and plus it was a while till it was going to show up. So no point in me continuing to wait till 44. So I was walking southbound. Once I realized that, I was walking southbound on 44th Street, figuring my best bet is to catch the next Route 17. I think from 44th Street and points west, it's every 15 minutes, so to get there, and sure as shit, I got on it. As soon as I walked over there was one sitting, and then another one pulled up behind her, and I got on that one. That's the woman who let me on. That's when I realized I didn't have my bus pass. She's like, well, I can't take cash anyway, so go ahead and get on and try to find it. And I went through everything, and all my pockets did not have it. So that's a fear-inducing moment. At this point, I realized Priscilla's just not going to be able to help. Because what she do? Send me an Uber. I'm not going to sit still and hope that maybe an Uber shows up. I mean, at this point, like so much time has passed that I'd be hard pressed to get there on time driving, considering that suddenly I've realized I need to go to the other side of town. So I'm on the 17 and moving, and that's when I check the schedule to see, how long it's going to be till the 17 gets me to 35th Avenue. Am I going to be able to connect, to a Route 35 to go south to Washington? Yes, I am. That works. Quarter-mile walk from 35th to 37th, directly down Washington. Okay, that's easy enough. Of course, then there's the panic of, well, how am I going to pay for the next bus? But, well, worst case scenario, $2 to go in a single direction. I got that. Thanks to the lady I sold the boxes to. Check, I'm good. So she's via con Dios, which I kind of had to Google that to see what it means. It says go with God, which I was just like, yeah, whatever. But at that point, I'm still trying to kind of figure out, okay, so I figured out how long it's going to take. And I figure at this point, I need to contact the recruiter, because it said in the email, hey, if there's any problem getting there, let us know. Well, I'm having a problem getting there. So I called her, I left a voicemail, briefly explained, what the issue was. I didn't give her all the details because, I mean, my God, I've been explaining details on 23 minutes of video that you can't really even see me on. Yeah, after that, but I just explained, the miscommunication, streets and avenues. You're not from here, probably you don't understand the streets and avenues, but I can get there. And at least at this time, like I've looked at schedules and stuff, and I've determined that I can get there, but I'm not going to get there until 4. Hey, because of this miscommunication, I'm not going to be able to make it there till 4. Is this okay? And calling, of course, I when I first called her voicemail, it says, leave your name and number, and I realized I don't know my number, so I had to go through the extra steps to pull that number out. That's brilliant. I really struggle with memorizing phone numbers. It may be months until I memorize this phone number, my new phone number. So yeah, it's rough. That's something that's very rough for me. So yeah, I can't just off the cuff leave a message with my number, because I gotta take the time to look it up. So I did that. And at that point, I went back to her email, and it's like, well, I can email from the iPhone. I can't make phone calls from the iPhone, but I can email from the iPhone. So I leave an email, say more or less the same thing. And just as I sent the email, within maybe 30 seconds, she calls me back. So, oh God, okay, things are looking better. She calls me back and quickly explained what the thing was, and she's like, well, is that gonna be a problem, for you? Is that gonna be too far to commute? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I said, I'm sure I can. I really need to work right now. I can handle that commute. I just, I'm just, if I'm going to make that commute, I need to leave from work I need to leave from home 30 minutes earlier, which I didn't do because I didn't know. And she's like, okay, no problem. She goes, I'll contact, I forget the name of the woman who runs that warehouse, which is who I had the interview with. Turns out she was an older woman. She was really nice. I just kind of got, and I'm the kind of guy who's not really good at reading body language. Kind of goes with the probably being on the autistic scale, autistic spectrum. Kind of goes with that, but I kind of felt like her body language was like, well, you're eager to do it, but you don't really seem like the right guy for this. This doesn't seem to be your thing. I mean, I wonder, is working in warehouses actually anybody's thing? But, I would imagine anybody who does that is not doing it because they get off on working in warehouses. They're doing it because they need a job, and that's a job. And it's a job that pays enough to, make ends meet to a point. Anyway, so anyway, I didn't know that's the kind of person. Honestly, I expected somebody more office-like to be handling the interview there. So I'm glad it was somebody that actually was wearing a safety vest and seemed to, be more hands-on there. I'm glad my interview was with somebody like that, in spite of the fact that I feel like it went a little awkward. But yeah, so the recruiter's like, well, yeah, she'll call and everything. She goes, yeah, that should be no problem. In fact, I think she said that she had already called her and confirmed that 4:00 would be no problem because I had left that on both the message and in the email. So I'm just like, wow, this is miraculously worked out, which I think I mentioned in the little video that I shot as I was walking from the bus by the bakery. God, the bakery smelled so good. From the bus to the warehouse where Penske Logistics is at. Or that particular Penske Logistics operation is at. Anyway, the interview was kind of awkward. I really don't want to relive that anymore because I'm so many mixed feelings and stuff on that. I'd just rather let that lie where it lied. But let's say I think I might have the job. I mean, there was no enthusiastic, hey, you're hired. And it was, kind of the response to that was, well, we're still doing several more. Like, she asked how many applications I'd put in at other places, kind of like, are you going to get hired by somebody else and not me? And I told her that, I'd put in more than, I've lost count of how many I put in, because it's not like, I said, it's not, and she seemed to be a little older than me. So I said, this is the first time I've been out looking for jobs in the way things are now. My karaoke business has been successful for well over a decade. I said, the last time I was actually out trying to find a job, you walked into buildings with now hiring signs, or you saw an ad and it told you where a place was hiring, and you went to that place and you talked to somebody, and if they liked you, they hired you, and if they didn't, they didn't. I said, this whole send out emails, go on websites, fill out web forms, and hope you get a response. This is all new to me. I said, I've filled out more. I couldn't tell you how many I filled out. I filled out a lot. I said, this is the only person this is the first person that's actually, which actually is a lie, because I did have Shamrock get back to me, but I wasn't thinking of Shamrock at all. I said, this is the first one that's got back to me, and I really need to get to work now. I have bills that need to be paid now. And so I think she's concerned that she wants someone that's going to stay there, and I'm sure I didn't give stay there vibes, but I tried to at least, stay there long enough to make it worth your while to hire me vibes. I tried my best to at least send that off. So yeah, she didn't hire me on the spot. I feel like she could have if she really wanted to. She said that, we're doing quite a few interviews, but that I would hear back from Friday, yay or nay. So it wasn't a definite no, but I'm not feeling overly optimistic. And the fact that I walked into, and I think I mentioned this on a previous video, that I walked into a cold storage warehouse, which was like refrigerator temperature, and then a frozen warehouse, which was freaking cold. Oh my God. Um, yeah, it makes me a whole lot. I mean, I'm not so enthusiastic about like warehouse housework anyway, but the cold just, I don't like being cold. And on that note, when I got out and started walking, first thing place I went to was to Burger King. By then, I was just super hungry, and I just needed to sit down and try to gather my thoughts and hopefully charge my phone. No place to charge my phone in that, unfortunately. And I kind of made the mistake of, because I thought I was only going a few miles to 32nd Street in Washington, and it was warm out, I left my jacket at home. And I didn't bring chargers with me. I did bring I don't know if I mentioned it, I found a rechargeable, like mobile battery pack, power pack. I did find one of those at a bus stop, real nice one. So, but that ended up draining while I was at Burger King. But got 3 rodeo cheeseburgers on a credit card. So at least got some sustenance since me, and tried to reevaluate my situation was. Oh yeah, by the time I walked out of there, like it was starting to get, sun's starting to go down, it's starting to get cold, and I'm just like, shit, you know. And of course, if I'd have known that I was going so far, I would have brought my jacket. I honestly thought, in my mind, I figure I'm gonna get there at 3:30, should be done with the job interview by 4, maybe 4:30. Hour back home, I'll get home before it's dark. I'm good. I was wrong. And the last bit of that journey home was really cold. And of course, because it got me so far and took so long, I wasn't able to take care of the overdraft at Wells Fargo Bank. So I'm sure now it's going to be overdrafted even more with some fees. And also wasn't able to take care of. Actually, it's before midnight. I should maybe throw some clothes on now and try to see if I can take care of that. I don't know if I have enough cash on me and enough money that I probably can't pull anything out of my. I don't know. I should make an effort. To take care of it anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I was just so emotionally just drained by the whole experience. By the time I got home, and I didn't sleep well last night, throw that in as well. There was a lot of sexual teasing when I got home. I feel like Priscilla already forgave me for spending the night with somebody else on New Year's night. But, I told her that, sex didn't happen. Just a whole lot of me hugging somebody else's toilet because I was too drunk to walk home in the cold is what happened. So, but yeah, there was a lot of naked teasing and stuff. And I thought maybe by the end of that night, there was going to be a little bedroom fun, but that didn't happen. So that resulted in me not sleeping well. That's one of the things that kind of, and granted, Priscilla doesn't owe me that, and it's not a Priscilla problem, but it's definitely a me problem. And it's a me problem that she could really, really help with, and should help with, I feel. Anyway, I don't know where she is now. I kind of assumed she was going out to get the rent money order, because obviously I haven't done that, and I have, at this point, absolutely nothing to contribute to it. I thought I had a little bit in my bank accounts, but nope, that's overdrawn. She, oh gosh, what was I going to say? So I don't know where she's at. I woke up at like 9. Oh, now my time is escaping me. It's 10, I think it's 10. It's 10:16. I got to be careful when I pull the thing down to look at the clock, because when I'm shooting in vertical mode like this, if I pull it all the way down, it stops the camera. I can't. Whereas I can pull it down enough to see it and keep video rolling when I'm shooting horizontal. Like vertical matters. It's so dark, y'all can't see me anyway. Yeah, so yeah, she's been gone at least, I want to say at least an hour that I've been awake, probably more. I don't know where she's at. I can't imagine it takes that long to withdraw cash from an ATM and get a money order. So, I don't know. And I guess considering that I stayed the night with another woman on Saturday night, I'm not really in any position to be demanding to know her whereabouts. So, but yeah, when I got home from the whole job interview and that whole journey and the frustration of no pass, I did go to the light rail platform and I bought 3 reduced pay passes, because I've noticed as long as I swipe a reduced pass, like they don't question to see ID that I'm, are you on med? At least proof that you receive Medicare, or receive proof of a disability. They don't ask for that, but they definitely do when you're paying cash and you want to get a reduced pass from them. So I got 3 reduced day passes, and I was able to do that with a credit card as opposed to cash, because I really don't have any cash right now. I have very little cash right now. And the other thing with on the bus, it has to be exact change, and I don't have exact change. I think I have a $10 bill. So yeah. Anyway, I need to deal with that. I need to stop running video so I don't. I'm about to run into space issues. I don't know if you noticed, probably not with this video, but oh God, my nose is huge. There's my eye, my good eye. Look deep into the eye. Yeah, I need to wrap this up. I need to see if I can maybe take care of the, I don't know if it'll make a difference if I post it before midnight, or if I'm screwed because I didn't handle it for the close of the business day today. But I think it's worth making an effort. And I think if I get it posted before midnight, I might be able to talk a bank manager into reversing a fee. Because, I don't know, I have a fairly good record of getting bankers to reverse fees over at Wells Fargo. So maybe I can make that happen. Anyway, wrapping this up. Really wish I knew where Priscilla was. I really wish when she got done, 'cause she was still on the phone when I got home, and just climbed into bed and functionally cried myself to sleep. Yeah, I really wish she'd have climbed into bed with me when she got off the phone. If nothing else, I mean, even if she didn't want to, get busy, it would have been nice just to get a hug and be reassured that everything's okay, even though I know it's not.